And here we go once again. Uh, Welcome to another episode of Ed on the Bed. This is Ed. I am on that bed, and this is my podcast. Another episode. Getting this started here. So as usual, let's go ahead and select that intro song for today's episode. Today's song is brought to you by She Wants Revenge. And the song is called Tear You Apart. Check it out. It's pretty awesome. I got into them, I think 2005, 2006. They're very, uh, kind of like what I would hear like at like a goth club, which I did used to go to at one point. Um, in Miami, I'd go to the kitchen. Excuse me. Wow, I'd go to the kitchen, which would be on Saturdays. And then on Sundays, you'd have the church. All names of parties that would be goth events. And obviously, sometimes early on, as I mentioned before, one of these episodes, the Fetish Factory also kind of was very influenced by goth music and industrial music. So, you'd hear a lot of that. I wasn't like the goth scene was a little weird because obviously because it was goth. Second of all, the music I could appreciate when I'd hear maybe them play more of a new wave kind of atmosphere, like maybe some Joy Division, maybe some The Cure, uh, a little bit of Depeche, but you mention that to a goth, and a goth will just scoff at you because that's too mainstream. They kind of prefer more like underground stuff, but I guess that's why I really couldn't enjoy myself much in those places. But if I'd hear some Cure, Depeche, or anyone similar, I'd be fine. Um, but yeah, this is that kind of music that you would hear at at a goth night, and I still rock it. I love it. And it's got a good vibe to it. At least I think. So enjoy. Other than that, I am looking at the time right now, and while I am recording, I am less than 24 hours away from my 34th birthday. 3-4, yeah. That to some of you that might be kind of old. To some of you that might be kind of young. Um, I don't know what to see it as. Uh, I see it as that there's memories that I'm already forgetting. So I do see myself as kind of old, but then I look at people that are older than me, and I don't think I'm that old. So yeah, I guess I'm in the middle somewhere. I don't know. Uh, Looking forward to it, but it's one of those things where I don't know, because you usually look at your age and you look at your birthday and you tell yourself and you think yourself, you know, all right, I made it now, so now next year, what am I gonna change, and what am I gonna do different, and what are gonna be my goals for this year, and what are gonna be, what should I aspire to be or have or whatever the case may be. Um, and it's interesting how that idea always comes up either around your birthday or New Year's. And I wonder, and for me, it's kind of like a 6 month span, whether it's from now July or January. And so each 6 months, I'm kind of coming up with like this new, well, this is what I need to do, or this is what I need to accomplish. Um, do I follow up on those goals? Eh, for the most part, I've always said that I'm not lucky when I want to be lucky. I'm lucky when I need to be lucky. So, if it's something that needs to be done or something that I need to have or like absolutely need in my life, it usually comes around, and I've always had that luck. Um, Knock on wood. But yeah. Uh, if not, just kind of like just anything that I kind of desire as a want, it's usually not in the plans. But whatevs. Um, we'll see what I think of. I really can't think of anything now. Um, Even if I think about this past week alone, uh, and just how I'm this close, and just how I look at goals and everything. Um, I'm not sure what I mean. I have one or two that I've always aspired for. And there's probably one more that really means a lot to me. But for the rest, I guess I'll figure it out. And see what to go for. Um, while it's like I said, while it's less than 24 hours to my birthday, it is my sister's birthday as we speak. I was born July 28th, 1981. My sister was born July 27th, 1982. So that means we share the same age for one day. I don't really get along with her, so that's why I don't really talk much about her. But it always kind of sucked growing up, cause I don't know, as a sibling and everything, you kind of just want to be able to celebrate your day on your own. And since our birthdays would be back to back, we'd usually celebrate them. Growing up, our parents would do the party the on the same day just to make it easier on them. So that always kind of sucked because it wasn't, as a kid, I know that sounds stupid and all, but as a little kid, you kind of just want that me attention on your birthday. Um, and sometimes you don't get that, and well, that kind of sucked. Uh, Especially when you don't like your sibling. So uh, that was always kind of like a bummer on my birthdays. And then the other thing was, for my birthdays, it usually land on summer vacation in the States, so we'd usually be traveling. So I never really got to experience much of my birthdays with like my childhood friends. Uh, which I know some of y'all are probably hearing this and y'all are probably saying, "Wah, what are you complaining about?" But that's why I have this podcast and I talk about me. So there you go. Um, as for later on growing up, I tend to ignore my sister's birthday and everything. Um, and so I kind of got to celebrate my own birthday, except when I met the mother of my son, my baby mama, whose birthday happens to be July 29th. So um, it would be us celebrating our birthday together, which obviously when we were together, that was great, fantastic, and it kind of meant something. Um, but not now. I mean, it's not that like now. It's still cool, I guess. Yeah, maybe it's cool for our son. I don't know. But yeah, it's always weird how I wish my birthday was kind of buffered away from other people's birthday, but it really isn't much. Um, and then I remember this was always weird. I'd meet girls that had their birthday on my birthday, and I'd always find that attractive. I don't know why, but I'd always I'd meet a girl at a club or at a party or something. I'd find out, oh, your birthday's also on the 28th, so is mine. Like, and I'd go out with them on for the sole fact of that reason, which I always thought was kind of weird. Um, but I think I'm done over that fad, so that's good. Um, But yeah, like if I think about like some of the crazier birthday experiences that I've had, usually it'd be me renting out like hotel rooms and having like hotel room parties, uh, which would always consist of a lot of alcohol. A lot of people passed out in the hotel room. Uh, and then hoping that your deposit doesn't disappear because of what the assholes have done in the hotel room. Um, I remember what usually what I would do, and I talked about it in one of the other episodes when I was more in the high school ages. Uh, I we would end up doing ghetto tours, and I actually talked about it. I actually talked about one of my birthdays where I ended up seeing a ghost in one of them in one of my birthdays there, doing a ghetto tour after a ghetto tour. But um, excuse me. I don't think I went much into what the ghetto tour was, and the ghetto tour was we would get drunk, and we would just get like disgustingly drunk, obviously. And it wouldn't happen only on my birthdays. It would, but it would always we would always do ghetto tours. It seems on people's birthdays for some reason. It just happened. We had this thing where at this age we'd all have cars, and the first thing you want to do is just drive, and Miami-Dade County is a big fucking county, and if you want to expand it to Broward County and Monroe County, that South Florida is a pretty big fucking area, and there's a lot to explore. And when you're in a car, when you're in a car and you're young, you're always like, man, I wonder what's off that exit, or I wonder what's off that down that road. I wonder what goes on in this neighborhood or in that neighborhood. And we decided that the best time to explore those neighborhoods would be when it'd be 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, drunk as fuck, and with no sort of just like, and no one being responsible at all. And we always thought that was a good idea, which always made for great stories. We'd always drive down neighborhoods like Opelika, Carroll City, Little Haiti, which are kind of ghetto neighborhoods in Miami, but not that bad. And then we said, no, we gotta, step it up a notch. So we'd go into the Scott Projects, the James E. Scott Projects, which was pretty bad. I'll say this about the Scott Projects. Anytime I think I drove by the Scott Projects at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning around 5, 6 times. And each time we've driven around the Scott Projects, there was always a crime scene tape all around with ambulances. There's always something bad happening there. That's the deal with the Scott Projects. Liberty City was pretty bad. And then the absolute worst neighborhood you can go to in Miami is Overtown. Flat out, just Overtown. It's the worst neighborhood. You could tell me whatever neighborhood you want. I don't care. It does not beat Overtown. It does not beat Overtown. And sure enough, on a ghetto tour, we'd go down there on birthdays just for fun, just like idiots, just for fun. Since we'd all be staying like at a hotel, usually because we rent out a hotel room or whatever. We would all have shower caps on. Sometimes bathrobes if the hotel provided it. And yeah, we were just idiots and go through the worst neighborhoods in the city. And Overtown. Like Overtown is so close to downtown. Overtown, I don't know if you guys ever heard it. It probably happened a few years ago, but there was this drug that was going on. Oh, well, people were doing bath salts, and the bath salts, they'd make you like go crazy. And at one point, some dude in Miami ate some guy's face off. Well, the dude was from Overtown, so that tells you how fucked up Overtown is. And I remember there was one time where we pull into Overtown and we got searched. Like the cops didn't like we were driving normal, we weren't doing anything. Cop pulled us over and he pulled us over and he told us to wait in the car. Told us not to move. We waited a good 3-4 minutes and another cop car came by. Because they don't do searches or pull stop cars over without backup. They already need backup. So already the one cop comes up to you, they both have bulletproof vests on. The one cop comes up to you, starts asking you a question, his hand's already on his holster, while the other cop is right behind them and he has his shotgun pointing at you already. So they don't fuck around in Overtown. So they made us get out of the car. They searched us. They didn't even ask any questions. They searched us first, and then they started asking questions. They're like, "What are you guys doing here?" Well, we got lost. Well, the reason we searched you is because you guys shouldn't be around here. And if you guys are around here, it's because you guys are looking for drugs. So that's why we're searching the car. Are you sure you guys don't have any drugs in the car? No, we don't, officer. All right. You guys are lost. Where are you guys trying to go? Oh, well, we were trying to go to Bayside. All right. Well, you need to get back on you need to get back on 985 and then get off this exit, and then you'll get to Bayside. But I don't ever want to see you guys here ever again. And we were like, all right. Mind you, I'd been to Overtown after that, I don't know, 10 more times. But when they got to call up backup before they go ahead and start searching you and everything, that tells you what's up with Overtown. I remember there was a time, and Overtown's so fucking crazy. Like it's really bad, like shady ass apartment complexes. Like complexes that like some of them don't have windows on them, some of them don't have doors on them. Some of them don't have electricity, but there's people living in them. And there's like these abandoned warehouses all over the place. And I remember one time we're driving down this street and I just see a shadow like in this caged off area. And I'm like, guys, stop the car. So we stopped the car. And I still see like a shadow and it's moving really weird and I really can't figure it out. And I said, everyone, let's just get out of the car. And they're like, dude, but come on. I'm like, trust me on this one, get out of the car. I'm seeing something that I don't believe. Sure enough, inside a cage, well, a fenced out area in Overtown, was an ostrich. Say what you want. Call me a liar, whatever. I know what I saw, and there was an ostrich right in front of me, fenced in the middle of Overtown. I wish I could give you the address right now, to see if maybe its offspring's still there or something. But there was an ostrich in Overtown. I gotta think that's probably that was the most ghetto, thuggish, hardest ostrich you'll ever meet in your life. To be in that neighborhood, I don't know what it was doing there. I don't know how it just survives there. What the hell was going on? But that was a fucking ostrich in that fucking block. There's craziest shit you'll see on a ghetto tour. That's why you gotta remember, like, it's not the smartest thing to do, but it's definitely interesting. Another time I remember we're going down Overtown, and the lights went off. The lights were like the whole power in the neighborhood went off. So everything's dark as fuck. There's no street lights working, nothing. And we're just driving around like idiots. And we make a turn into this alley. And at the end of the alley, all I see is like from far away I could see a purple suit. And I'm like, guys, just drive up to that purple suit. We need to see what the fuck is going on in that, because it's just so dark. All I see is a purple suit. Sure enough, we get close. Next to the purple suit is a dude in an all-white suit, and next to the dude in an all-white suit is a dude with an all-black suit. And they all have like fedoras on. They all have canes with them. These guys are straight up pimps, and they're just standing there in the middle of the dark, just standing there hard as fuck. Like, these dudes were down to just beat the shit out of anyone that would come up to us. And sure enough, they're staring at the only car that's in the fucking neighborhood looking at them. and they're fucking start walking towards the car, and I'm just like, all right, that's when you start driving away. Step on the gas. Let's go. Let's go. Interesting image to have in my head. I just don't want to like continue that. Um, uh, that's like some of the dumb. Like sometimes we would have the window rolled down, and I remember we would drive down over town. We'd have the American flag, and we would blast through the speakers of the car, whatever car we would have. We would blast Hulk Hogan's theme song, "Real American," down over town and Liberty City and Carroll City, no lie. And it's so messed up now looking back at it, because especially now, I don't know if most of you heard or not, but this week Hulk Hogan got pretty much erased from anything from the WWE because he made some racist comments, and now they're trying to keep a distance from him. So that's pretty messed up. And we would just blast Real American Hulk Hogan music, because at the time we were drunk kids and we were fans of wrestling and Hulk Hogan, and we just thought it'd be cool to blast one of our favorite wrestlers' music through the ghetto, and like have people wondering, because everyone was always blasting, like, you're driven by any car in the ghetto and everyone's blasting some obviously some different genre. So imagine hearing Real American blast around there. People are just staring at you like, what the hell are these kids doing? But yeah, now looking back at it, it was pretty messed up of us. But no one knew back then that Terry Bollea, aka Hulk Hogan, was like that. So we'll make sure to blast, if there's ever another ghetto tour, we'll make sure to blast another sort of wrestler song, probably Shawn Michaels theme song. If you guys never heard of any of these songs, look them up. They're good songs. It's not going to change your life or anything, but it might put a smile on your face. There was this other street. Oh my god. There was this legendary street in Overtown. If we would go into like a gas station around Overtown, or we go to like a 7-Eleven or any sort of place like that, anywhere that'd be open that would serve us food or drinks or anything, everyone would always tell us, if you're going to be in this neighborhood, do not go down this alley. Do not go down this certain alley. In Overtown, this alley was called Murder Alley, just because you just get shot up in that alley. And we'd always make sure that we would never go down that alley, because we just did not want to. Like that's the one limit we had at that time. We were like, we're not going to go down this alley. Sure enough, one day we're in my friend Omar's car. Omar's driving, rest in peace. And Omar was always the one of us that did not give a fuck. And I won't say he was the bravest of us all. He just gave no fucks. So maybe that made him brave, but he never gave a fuck about anything. And he was like, all of a sudden we just see him. We're driving down this alley in his car. His car was like a Crown Victoria, so obviously it looked like a cop car. So we're driving down this alley. For some reason, he pulls down. He has access to all the windows, so he puts down all the windows, and he starts blasting music, and he stops in this middle of this alley, and we're looking around. We've never been down this alley before, and we're like, Omar, where are we? And Omar just starts laughing, and all of a sudden we all know where we're at, and we all start ducking. We just do not want to be seen. We're just ducking, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, we can't believe we're here. We can't believe we're here. He's like, yes, this is Murder Alley. So we're just freaking out. We're looking around. There's like these there's like to the left of us, there's like another dark alley, but that you could only walk in through. To the right of us, there's like this like there's this gated like it looked like gated abandoned like project building, and in front of us is just like this alley that just is so worn out and just dirty, filled with garbage bags and just trash all over the place. And behind us is just all dark. So all I'm looking at in front of us, I see like a little kitten running by. I'm so worried about that kitten. I'm like, how is this kitten surviving in this place? Like I wanted to grab it, but I'm like, I'm not getting it out of this fucking car. And we're all just kicking. We're all just anyone that's sitting in the back seat is just kicking Omar's seat like from the front, and whoever's in the passenger seat's also like I forgot who it was, but we're all just trying to get Omar to drive, and Omar's just laughing. We're like, just drive, just get us out of here, bro. Get us out of here, bro. Get us out of here, bro. Stop being stupid. Stop being stupid. Stop being stupid. After a good minute and a half, he finally decides to drive away. But yeah, I still remember that, and man, we're idiots. We are idiots. Nothing happened to us, thank God. Um, but it's the kind of shit that like you like even when the locals tell you do not go down there and you go down there, that just I think the ghetto tour. I think everyone should do a ghetto tour once. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I remember there was one time we didn't go down over town because it was just a little too far at the time, but we went down. We went down to the James E. Scott projects, and we love going down like all the the tenement blocks there and everything. And I remember one time it's myself, it's my friend Alex, and my friend Omar, and Omar's just daring Alex to make turns, and Alex tells him, "Turn right now, turn left now, turn right." He's like, "I have a feeling, turn right now." Sure enough, we turn right now. There's just 20 dudes just standing there. 20 dudes just standing there, all in the dark, and all of a sudden, this fucking car pulls up, uh, black with black tints, and we had the lights off like idiots. So there's a car that just turned into your neighborhood, and it has its lights off. And as soon as we make that turn, and we see those guys, the three of us in the car, go, "Ooh, bad idea." And Alex just kind of freezes up. Alex is the one driving. Alex just kind of freezes up, and we're all like, "Alex, put the car in reverse. Put the car in reverse. Put the fucking car in reverse." The 20 dudes are all just staring us down, and they're none of them are happy to see us. And fucking Alex just fucking went into reverse. It was a Toyota Celica, but that fucking Toyota Celica fucking drove like a sports car getting out of that fucking block. Um, Man, there's some scary shit, man. There was another night where it was myself, my friend Jesus, and my friend Omar. Omar happened to always be one of the ghetto tour organizers for some reason. And there's one night where we also go to Scott Projects, and for some it was like 4 o'clock in the morning on a Monday morning, or 3:30 in the morning. Like the sun hadn't come out yet, and it's just foggy as fuck. And we decided to go ahead, and we're like, we had some beers in the car, and we're like, no, we're not gonna drink the beers in the car. Let's drink them outside. So there's this park next to the James E. Scott Projects. We're like, let's go into the park, and let's find some picnic tables. Let's sit down on the picnic tables and drink, and let's see what happens. And when you're drunk, it sounds like the best thing to do. It sounds like the smartest thing to do. For some dumb reason, it sounds like the smartest thing to do. So sure enough, that's what we did. We get out of the car, and we start drinking. In the middle of this park, where it's there's fog everywhere. And then just walking in the left of us, there's like the street that's right in front of the park, and it's just so fog as fuck that you just see shadows and you don't know what the fuck is going on. And then all of a sudden, out of the shadow, walking right there in the middle of the street, is this humongous Rottweiler, just fucking walking as slow as fuck, as he just does not give a fuck. He's not moving out of that road. He's just walking around like if he owned the place. And we're like, that's probably one of the most the hardest dog we've ever met, because he does not give a fuck, and he probably has to put up with a lot of bullshit in that neighborhood. And we're like, that dog will, if that dog sees us, as much as I love Rottweilers, that I know that Rottweiler ain't gonna give me any love. Um, and we're Jesus and I are too busy looking at the Rottweiler that Omar tells us, guys, what's that over there? So we look, and we're looking at the other direction now, to our right hand side, and all we see are these like four figures, just four human figures, and they're walking towards us from the distance. We really can't make it out real well because it's all foggy. And then all of a sudden they just start moving faster and faster, and now they're running towards us. And Omar's just like, go. So we just all hop into Omar. We were in Omar's car. We all hop into Omar's car. We just start driving. Omar just doesn't pay attention, doesn't turn on the lights or anything. He just steps on the gas and just starts driving through the park. He doesn't even get to the road. He drives through the park. He's driving through the grass and everything, just trying to get the fuck out of there. He turns on the lights finally, and as soon as he turns on the lights, we realize that there was like a ditch that we were about to fall into, and he stepped on the brakes just in the nick of time. And we're like, let's relax. The way we're driving right now, we must have freaked out anyone else that might have probably have been heading towards us. Fucking back up the car. Let's get back on the road. But we were literally just inches of just falling into this ditch. And I could just imagine this car falling into the ditch. We would have just been stuck there like forever. We'd have to explain to whomever came to get the car out, like, why the fuck are we stuck in a ditch in the park? Why did we drive off like this? What the fuck are we doing at the park at this hour? Like, it would have just been a mess. And somehow we got out of that. And yeah, like, that's like, it just sounds, looking back of it, of course, like, it just sounds stupid, everything we did in these ghetto tours, and these just searching around the South Florida and everything. Sometimes it wasn't always like that. We'd always kind of drive around like some nice neighborhoods from time to time and look at these houses, and you're like, who the fuck lives in these houses? Like, that's a drug dealer's house. That's probably someone's famous house. Like, you drive, like, it's always very interesting to drive around these blocks, and you drive through some of the worst neighborhoods, and then 4 blocks later you're already driving past mansions. And it was always really ridiculous seeing how weird, these different classes all lived in one city. But I think the scariest time we ever did one of these exploration things, I won't call this a ghetto tour because technically it wasn't a ghetto tour, but we did decide to go explore. And one of the scariest places to go explore is any area around the Everglades. That flat out is some of the scariest parts to drive in at nighttime. And I remember there was one night, there's this area, it's supposedly still there, you should check it out. But there's like an abandoned mental hospital. And I know everyone says, oh, everything's an abandoned mental. No, this literally is an abandoned mental hospital somewhere like it's close to the Everglades. And it's like they close off, like, it was just there out there for no reason at all, and it's been closed down to the point where there's no, like, it's been closed down for so long that there's no road that actually lets you get there. So, like, you gotta park your car like on the side of the freeway and walk into the woods to get to the asylum. I'm sure there's a bunch of YouTube videos on it. I think you might have to look it up. It's a Tamiami mental asylum or something along those lines, or the Southwest Miami Mental Asylum. But it was very close by the Miccosukee Indian Casino, which is where kind of my story goes. I didn't go looking for the insane asylum. We never did find it. I found some weird shit around there. I remember finding once in those forests what looked like to me to be a santeria um altar, which was kind of crazy, next to a food truck, uh which had some of the best Cuban food I've ever had. But that wasn't that scary. Um, what was scary was there was one night I'm driving with my friend Richard, and we had just left the Mikisuki Indian casino. Uh, I don't recall if we won money or lost money, but we ended up leaving. And after leaving, we just were kind of in the mood to like let's go exploring because, like I said, there's the casino is out in like BFE. Like it just there's nothing around there. There's a gas station like across the street, and then other than that, everything else is just kind of like road, road. Just there's nothing really around there. And my friend and I were like, well, fuck it, let's go explore. You know, we're hardly ever down here. Let's see what's up. Maybe let's get to know this part of Miami a little bit better. Because it can't be that there's just nothing here. There's got to be some sort of construction. If they built a casino here, there's got to be other stuff. Maybe like an Indian reservation or something like that. You know? So we get out of the casino and we start heading north. I wish I knew the fucking what that street was, but it's right off there where the casino's at. So we're heading north, and I think 5 minutes going north. I'm gonna say actually less. I'm gonna say 3 minutes going north. I look, and this is like the road is basically two lanes, one lane heading north, one lane heading south. And we're on the road, we're heading north, and walking south on the other side. Walking, and this is completely dark. There's no lights. This stretch of road has no lights or anything. The only lights are the lights that you see of cars. Walking down the road heading south. I kid you not. Another thing that I'm not lying about. It's embedded in my head. It's like if I just saw it a little while ago. Is this elderly Native American guy, gray hair, long gray hair. He's all in white, and he has like this like he's holding on to like this long stick, and he's just walking down the street. And I go, both me and my friend at the same time go, what the fuck? And it did, like, we're just like astonished. 30 seconds, just driving, still driving ahead. 30 seconds, and 30 seconds into it, I'm like, Richard, pull over. So we pull over to the side, and Richard and I are both like, we both saw the same shit right now, didn't we? And Richard's like, yeah. And I'm like, Richard, look ahead, man. Where the fuck did this guy come from? There's nothing out there. And where the fuck is he going? Like, Richard, make a U-turn right now. I gotta see this guy one more time. We gotta fucking figure out what the fuck is going on. So Richard goes ahead, makes a U-turn, starts heading south to that stretch of land from where we stopped to where the casino was. We saw no one at all. Which that was 3 minutes. And we're like, this guy wasn't walking fast, so it's not like he could have just taken off. And there's no car that drove by us that he could have gotten a hitchhike ride from or something. And I'm like, maybe there's like a walking road or something that goes into the forest there. And we're like slowly driving by back and forth down there. We don't see anything. We go back to where the casino is, drive around the parking lot. We don't see anyone in the parking lot that fits his description. We go across to the gas station. We're like, that shit right there was probably one of the scariest things ever. Cause it just I told Richard, let's just keep going north. Let's try to figure out where this guy came from. There's nothing. If you keep getting heading north from the point where we kind of spotted the guy to the closest building or closest place where he could have came from, that was 20 miles away. Uh, and it just one of the craziest shit I've ever seen. Craziest things I've ever seen. Like I know I've talked about ghost stories before and stuff like that in other podcasts, but that was one of the other things. I don't know if I mentioned that one or not, but it definitely was something that that stands out to me more as scarier than anything I saw on a ghetto tour, because I can't explain it. And I can explain something that I see in Overtown other than an ostrich, but I can explain anything else. I can't explain what happened to that old man and what he was doing there and what any of that meant. Like I just can't. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, that was something. Um Kind of one of the things I want to go back on. I was kind of talking about Hulk Hogan a little earlier on. As I mentioned this week, there's a recording of him where he was heard saying some racist comments about the kind of people that he doesn't want his daughter dating, and he used derogative comments towards those kind of people. And it's like, this is Hulk Hogan. Like, you guys might have heard of his name, but you got to think of there's hundreds, thousands of wrestlers. For you to know his name, that means he must have been some sort of big deal. Like, there's thousands of basketball players, but you're all going to know about Michael Jordan. You know, there's thousands of soccer players, but you're all going to know who Pele is. Like, there's thousands of people that perform as wrestlers, but there's only the one person that everyone knows is Hulk Hogan, of course. Now you could say The Rock, but excuse me, but Hulk Hogan was like the biggest deal ever. And as a little kid growing up, like, I used to buy Hulk Hogan vitamins and take my vitamins because Hulk Hogan would tell you, growing up, say your prayers and take your vitamins to grow up strong. And sure enough, I did it because Hulk Hogan would tell me to do it. And he always was the main guy to beat all the bad guys, and he'd always save the day. And as a little kid, that was always like a big deal. And I still watch wrestling. You could say whatever you want about wrestling. Oh, it's fake. Oh, why do you watch that? And it's like, it's the same thing that I've been watching since I was a little kid. I always found it entertaining. I know it's not real, but I know half the shit, or more than half the shit, that they do there in the ring, I can't do. I know y'all can't do it. They're doing physical, whether you want to call it, acrobatic stuff, or just, physical stuff that I know most people in the world can't do. And and the stories are fun, and it's kind of something that I've been able to follow since I was a little kid. And it's cool to have that thing that you can still kind of pursue and follow and just enjoy and not take too serious. And it got to a point where my friends and I, like I said, we would drive around the ghetto listening to Hulk Hogan music blasting out of the radio, for the fun of it, because we thought it was funny. And we always thought, like, man, if Hulk Hogan were ever to come back to wrestling, that'd be awesome. Like, imagine, because there was a period where he wasn't wrestling anymore. He was too busy doing like that TV show on VH1 with his whole family and everything. And that TV show, it first started off like in Tampa, and then later on they all moved down to Miami. And when that happened, there was this whole, you start hearing a lot about the Hogan family down in Miami, and you'd already start hearing some bad stuff about them, like how the son was kind of like a piece of shit, how the wife was kind of like a stuck-up bitch, um, that the daughter was, like there was just always a bad, like when they came down to South Florida, they just didn't have a good reputation. At least from when you'd hear locals talk about them, locals that would run into them and everything. And but as you never really, because you'd always hear it as rumors and hearsay, so you wouldn't think a big deal about it. And is it when you're a wrestling fan, all you're like, man, but it'd be great to still see him wrestle. And then I remember, and I made fun of it. I made a joke about this on a friend's post on Facebook, but he came back once when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he came back on WrestleMania 21. Let me tell you about WrestleMania 21. It's a big deal. This whole show is going on. WrestleMania is like the biggest wrestling event that there is throughout the year. And at one point in WrestleMania, this character comes out to the ring. This character's name is Eugene. The character known as Eugene was a character who was mentally handicapped. So he'd come out to the ring and he would talk like he was mentally handicapped, but he would act like a child. So it was obviously very disrespectful to anyone who has a disability, because here's this guy here's this wrestler who in real life has no sort of disabilities, has no problems whatsoever, but he's performing as a mentally disabled person on air and on stage, mostly for comedic value. And I know I could watch South Park and I could laugh at Timmy and Jimmy and those two, but this is bad. This was just bad. And so he's talking, so Eugene comes out, he's talking about how he's loving WrestleMania and all the great WrestleMania moments that he remembers and everything. And sure enough, what happens? In the middle of his speech, his mic gets cut off, and excuse me, the two wrestlers of Middle Eastern descent who are performing to be Muslims come running out on stage, start telling off Eugene, start saying like how someone like him, would not survive in their country, like very racist stuff. And then they put him in a certain like wrestling hold, and they're trying to like choke him out or have him tap out. And it's just really bad, while the other Muslim guy is yelling at him in Farsi, I guess. And it's just really bad. It's a horrible scene. And the only reason, and this is kind of was going on when the whole Iraq war was going on. So there wasn't much love in the States for anything, with that sort of tone. So that's why they were like the perfect bad guys, at least everyone thought. Later on, they found that was so bad that the guy had to quit wrestling. The Muslim guy had to quit wrestling. Him and his partner, like, they could not wrestle again because they were just really hated, and they had a lot of death threats and everything. So they had to give up that gimmick, and they couldn't be back on WWE anymore. And sure enough, later on, the other guy, Eugene, also could not return because he got a lot of hate for the fucking character he was playing, of course. But But anyways, in WrestleMania 21, this is all going on. This guy's being yelled at while the other guy's choking him in the middle of the ring. And then, sure enough, Hulk Hogan's music blasts. Hulk Hogan doesn't even come running down to the ring to help him out. He just is strutting down to the ring with two boas on, pointing at everyone, having a good time, smiling. Gets into the ring. The two Muslim guys start trying to beat him up. He no sells for them. When someone says no sell, that means that he's not helping their performance. Like, the bad guys are punching him and he's not reacting to those punches. So that's a no sell. So the bad guys are punching him. He's no selling any of their moves. He's destroying them. He saves Eugene and he has his big moment at WrestleMania, Hulk Hogan. And that's the first time where the first second that I saw that, I thought it was hilarious. And then later on, I just started thinking how messed up that was. Like, just how what the fuck did just happen? Like, how many fucking people did you just disrespect in this one segment? You know, and all just to make Hulk Hogan look, awesome or cool. Like, fuck Hogan, fuck everybody. And I can't believe that actually happened on film. That actually happened, and people paid a pay-per-view event. People paid $60 to watch that on pay-per-view. To watch something as disrespectful and racist as that. But it happened. It's amazing to me. And I guess so. Later on, I can. It doesn't surprise me to hear what happened with Hogan now, because there's also other wrestlers and other people in the industry that always talked about, what a shitty person Hulk Hogan is. And it kind of sucks when you look at someone that you looked up as a kid, as your childhood hero, and realize that, they're not a larger than life role model, but they're a human being, and they're a shitty human being, but in this case. So it's weird. It's weird when you kind of look up to people and you see that. As a kid, I think my childhood heroes were, well, him, Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan just ended up being a cocky, drunk, gambling asshole. So that's kind of a let me down as well. And it's about it. Dan Marino, I guess. But Dan Marino, I mean, whatever, he cheated on his wife, and he's also known to be somewhat of an asshole. But I guess whenever you're in that role of a celebrity, it's kind of hard not to be an asshole. I guess a bit better role models is when you look to someone like your parents, family, friends, people that are close to you instead of fucking celebrities. But no. So it's a shame about the whole racist thing. It made me think about the most racist scenario that I ever been in. And I've been in through a lot. Like I mentioned, when I lived in New Orleans, I had to deal with a bit of racism and all. But I think the biggest racist moment that I ever had to deal with was when I was working in Key West. And as I mentioned, I was managing a jet ski rental company there, and we'd also rent bicycles, so you can tour the Key West in a bike if you wanted to. And we had our booth right there off the docks, so the cruise ship would pull in, Royal Caribbean or Carnival, whatever, and one of the first businesses you would see would be our business. So we'd be one of the first people that would offer you to rent a bike. And sure enough, we'd rent them out. We'd rent all of them out, make some good money there and whatever. And one day, there's this couple comes up to me. The dude looked like former Orlando Magic head coach Brian Hill. I remember that because I wasn't a fan of the Orlando Magic because I'm a Miami Heat fan, and Brian Hill always just fucking stood out to me. And so the guy looked like him and his wife, whatever. And the wife comes up to me and she's like, "Oh, hi, how are you? Yeah, I'd like to know about what would it take to rent a bicycle? Uh, we would like to rent 2 bicycles, you know." And so I tell her, "Oh, well, this is what we do. The price for the bicycle is so and so, to rent it out for the day, and we also take a deposit. Now, there's 2 sorts of deposits you can leave. Uh, one is you leave your boarding pass to get back on the ship, and the other one is you leave us we do an authorization on your credit card of $200 each, which you get back when the bikes get back." So she's like, "Oh, okay." And then when I finish saying that, the husband goes, "Well, don't." He says it out loud to her, and this is 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, so it's not like I was like, "Man, if this guy can't be drunk and be telling me this because it's too early to be drunk." The guy says, "Well, don't give him the credit card, honey. He might send that number to one of his family members in Cuba, and who knows what they'll buy." And I go, "Excuse me?" And she goes, "I'm sorry." You could tell that she realized, like, she can't believe what her husband just said, and she can't believe that now she has to deal with me. And I go, "Excuse me?" And she goes, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And I go, "I have cousins in Cuba that I'm gonna give your credit card information to." And she's like, "No, well, no, it's okay. We just want 2 bikes. We'll take, we'll give you the boarding pass." And I just turn my back at her and I just keep walking. Just keep walking. Get out of my face. Keep walking. It's probably the only time, and as a kid, I heard some racist comments and everything, but I was a kid and I didn't care about it as much as when I heard it as an adult, and that was the only time that I just wanted to. I had a barricade separating me from customers, and I was ready to climb over the barricade and just fucking just punch this guy for the fucking shit he just said. I can't believe the guy would just say that. Mind you, he's on a cruise ship that takes him through either 2 or 4 different other Caribbean islands, and I can't what the fuck are you doing saying shit like that, dude? Like, I don't get it. I don't get just the comments. And that one always surprised me, and I think that was the most racist thing I ever heard. It's not bad. It's not that bad. I'm sure people have heard and experienced much worse than that. I know that. But that one always kind of was like, all right. All right. So, maybe one day we'll all get over, racist stuff. I know it won't happen anytime soon, though, unfortunately. But we could always look forward to that, hopefully. Anyways, I'm going to wrap things up here. We're already hitting that 1 hour mark soon. But I do want to say, as I said, we're less than 24 hours away from my birthday, version 34.0, 34. It's going to be a good time, mostly because I'm going to be at one of my favorite spots, Hype. If you guys have never checked out Hype, here in Buenos Aires, it's every Tuesday night. It's over at Kika. It's a fucking great party. Like, I can't say it. And it's not because I'm friends with the people that run it or the DJs or anything. Like, it's good music. It's just everything you want to hear. It's drum and bass. It's trap music. It's hip hop. It's everything. Like, it's just, trust me, when you go to enough clubs here in Buenos Aires, it's either a lot of Latin pop music or it's very housey house music and very top 40s house music, like very mainstream house music. You don't get this different experience. I mean, yeah, you have other types of clubs and everything, but I'm saying the big clubs all are kind of the same feel. So it's always nice to kind of go to a place like this where it's a different experience. You know, there's like I said, there's not a lot of places where you can hear some good hip hop, and you hear some good hip hop up in here. Um, it's a good time, and it's right there in like the middle of Palermo. Like it's it's close to everyone, and it's on a Tuesday night, and it gets packed. Imagine where the fuck are you gonna go party on a Tuesday night, and like this is the only place. So trust me, definitely check it out. It's hype every Tuesday night. Check it out. Not even for my birthday. Check it out whenever the fuck you want if you're ever in Buenos Aires. That's where I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be doing pub crawl first. Of course, y'all all know me. Again, I don't want to sound biased, but pub crawl is a good time, man. It starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. Like I said, one of the things that I never got accustomed to living here in Buenos Aires is everyone starts their party like at 2, 3 o'clock. Everyone starts partying at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and which sucks because most of these clubs close like at 5, 6 o'clock in the mornings. So what's the point of partying for only 2 or 3 hours? Oh yeah, but we're having a previa, but the pre-party starts like at midnight. Like no, like start early, like party like the whole night. That Hey, if you're gonna hang out with me, we party the whole night, and that's one of the things that was kind of hard to find out here, living in Buenos Aires. How everyone would just like party later than what I was used to, or at least what we're used to in the States. And pub crawl, it's 7 nights a week, starts at 10 o'clock p.m. Awesome. Like 10 o'clock p.m. is like any normal pre-party back in the States. And for that first hour, you have free beer, you have free wine, and free food, like free pizza. Come on, like what more the fuck would you want? And then we take you to 3 bars. You get to enjoy the 3 bars with drink specials. You get a free shot, and then you get into the club where you don't have to worry about paying or waiting in line. You just get right on in. Like that's a fucking deal. And it's done 7 nights a week, all in different neighborhoods, all in different places. You end up in different clubs all the time. And Tuesday nights, we take you to hype, like the best fucking party around. So that's why I love my Tuesday nights, and I'm glad it's awesome that my birthday lands on a hype night. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of you there. Yeah. Other than that, I think I'll leave you at that. And hopefully the next episode I'll have Silvana finally on. I've been waiting to have Silvana on. I tried to get her this weekend actually, but there was a bit of scheduling conflict there. She did give me some days in this week that she told me I could hit her up. So hopefully finally we can figure this out. I already have a whole lineup of other people that want to go ahead and be a part of the show. So I'm looking forward to getting everyone on here. And yeah, once again, thanks for listening, and take care. All right, until next time. Bye-bye.